Admiral Gray stared at the emergency transmission, her weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the command console. The message from the Galactic Council was clear. Stay away from the Vexus system. The official line was that the system had been quarantined due to a natural disaster, but Gray knew better. They're being invaded, she said quietly. Commander Reeve looked up from his station. The same Vexus that voted to expel humanity from the Council 5 years ago? Gray nodded. The very same. Humanity's relationship with the Galactic Council had always been complicated. Earth had joined the interstellar community a century ago, bringing with them innovation, adaptability, and a warrior spirit that made the older species uneasy. When humanity formed an independent trade alliance with the mineral-rich Draxians against Council directive, they were branded traitors and cast out. Open a channel to all Earth fleet vessels, Gray commanded. Reed hesitated. Admiral, if we violate Council quarantine, it could be considered an act off. They're dying, Reed. Gray's eyes remained fixed on the distress signal. Council policy be damned. High Counselor Ziv of the Vexus watched as another defense platform went dark. The swarm had arrived 3 days ago, their hive ships consuming everything in their path. The Vexus military, with its ceremonial weapons and limited combat experience, had been overwhelmed within hours. Ziv had sent emergency transmissions to all Council races. The responses were diplomatic variations of the same message. We regret to inform you that Council policy prohibits direct intervention during an active biological expansion event. Counselor, his aide burst into the chamber. Unidentified ships have entered orbit. They're engaging the swarm. Ziv rushed to the observation window. Through the smoke-filled sky, he could make out sleek, angular vessels darting between the lumbering swarm ships. Their hulls bore a familiar insignia, one he had personally voted to ban from Council space. Humans. Captain Mills guided her frigate through the debris field, weapons systems at maximum capacity. The swarm didn't fight like the simulations had predicted. They were smarter, more adaptable, but so were humans. Target their central node, she ordered. All ships, converging fire pattern Delta. Humanity had spent its exile preparing. The Council might have considered their independent military development provocative, but Mills was damn glad for it now. Earth's ships were faster, their weapons more precise, their tactics evolved from millennia of warfare that most Council species had long abandoned. Through her viewport, Mills watched as Earth's fleet formed up around the Vexus capital. They were outnumbered, but the swarm was confused by their unorthodox approach. Where Council races fought with mathematical precision, humans improvised, creating patterns the hive mind couldn't predict. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the surface, reported her communications officer. Mills nodded. Put it through. Why have you come? Ziv's voice trembled as he addressed the human admiral on the screen. The battle still raged outside, but the tide had inexplicably turned. Because you needed help, Admiral Gray replied simply. Ziv's secondary eyelids flickered in confusion. But we cast you out, declared your kind disloyal to Council principles. Gray's expression remained neutral, but her voice carried a hard edge. Humanity has many principles, Counselor. One of them is that we don't abandon others to die, even those who've wronged us. A nearby explosion rocked Ziv's bunker, cutting the transmission briefly. When it returned, Gray continued, Your people called us traitors for pursuing our own interests. Maybe we are, but today, those traitors are the only ones who came. The battle lasted 18 hours. When it ended, 13 human ships had been lost, with hundreds of crew members dead or injured. But the swarm had been repelled, its central consciousness destroyed by a daring maneuver led by Captain Mills, who didn't survive to see their victory. In the aftermath, Admiral Gray walked through the ruins of the Vexus capital, surrounded by a population that had once spit on human embassies, but now cast their eyes downward in shame. Ziv approached her amid the rubble of what had been the Council's regional headquarters. The other races, they will arrive soon, now that the danger has passed. They will bring aid, medical supplies. I know, Gray nodded. We'll be gone before they arrive. Why? Ziv's voice cracked. You deserve recognition for this. You're Captain Mills. She saved us all. Gray looked up at the sky where debris from both swarm and human ships glittered like artificial stars. Mills didn't die for recognition, Counselor. None of them did. They died because when someone calls for help, humans answer. Even when those calling once called us traitors. Ziv's ceremonial robes were tattered and stained, but he straightened them with dignity. I will tell them the truth, that when the Galactic Council abandoned us to our fate, only the traitorous humans came to our rescue. Gray turned to leave, but paused. Tell them something else, Counselor. Tell them humanity doesn't need their approval to do what's right. And we certainly don't need their permission to be what we've always been, the ones who run toward danger, not away from it. As Earth's remaining ships departed Vexus space, messages began flooding in from other Council worlds. Some offered diplomatic overtures, others trade agreements. A few even suggested reinstatement to the Council. Admiral Gray ignored them all. Humanity had revealed itself today, not as the Council had feared they were, but as they truly were. Unpredictable, stubborn, defiant. And when everything was on the line, the only ones who showed up